You know, this is Elman. You're listening to It Came From the Radio. And we're here with a friend of the show. I was just born during the pandemic, so we've never met. Butterfly Joseph Monastery. And he wrote a book. It's a quite large book. I can't even hold it. It's very heavy. No. Right here. Let's see for videos. And what is this book called?
This book is Butterflies in Space. Some of you may remember the old version of it, which looked like this. So I took everyone's feedback and did a total revamp of it. And so I added art inside of it, brought the size down. It's also now an NFT, and I also just made an audiobook. And the really cool, which the audiobook has music in the background. And I'm in the process of...
We have music in the background too. That's why I just took my mic right here.
Well, I mean, in the music in the background of the audiobook.
Yes, I know. I'm just saying, our interview just got bombarded.
It has a really ethereal sound to it, which is pretty cool. But what's also really cool about my book is I'm in the process of animating it to turn it into a 24.5-minute special. And it's also going to space on NASA's Artemis 1.
Yes.
Which is launching on August 29th at 8:33 a.m. And I will also be doing a virtual launch party for it.
Nice.
So screening of the launch. I'll be doing a full read of my book there.
Did you hear? So his book is going to space. Never heard of this before. I asked how before. USB is going to be.
They have a USB drive on that's going to be on the kit. On the official flight kit,
right?
Which is going to have a bunch of people's names on it. It has my name on it. It also has a link to a digital copy of my book, which I also made my book free to read online. So if you go to butterfliesin.space, you can actually you can see a bunch of different links, and it's there to read. You can also go to butterfliesinspace.net and bring you directly to the book where you'll be able to read it for free.
How did you get your book to be in space?
So there was a lot of emailing back and forth with NASA.
Okay.
And so initially they said no to a physical copy, but they said yes to a link to the digital version.
Okay.
So that was part of why I also decided to make it free and open source so people could read it.
Now, where'd you get the idea to put your book in space? Where you were just kind of like, I'm done with humans on Earth. Let's market this to space.
Well, I just, with a name like Butterflies in Space, which drew a lot of inspiration from space, I was like, what better thing than to send it to the moon?
Right. That makes sense.
And also, it's an NFT, and so in the NFT community and the cryptocurrency community and blockchain community, the big thing is that where they say is that things are going to go to the moon. Things are going to go to the moon. Well,
okay.
Of course, me entering the NFT space in the beginning of the bear market, so everything's down, nobody's buying. I can still say that during the bear market, my project still went to the moon.
Wait, quick question, because I'm not really NFT savvy, and I don't think anyone on the show is. What do you mean people in the NFT community say that things are going to go to the moon? What does that mean?
Going to the moon means that...
Successful?
Success.
Okay, so NFTs aren't really going to the moon.
Well, no, I mean, they're not physically going to the moon.
But they're like, to the moon, Alice, let's be successful,
yes.
Shoot for the stars.
And what's really cool about the NFT space is that it allows creators the ability to get residual income on secondary sales, which they wouldn't normally be able to get. Which is part of what drew me to it. Speaking of NFTs, I just also spoke at NFT NYC, and I also am expanding Butterflies in Space with a curated collection, which is really awesome. It's a much more higher end collection, but it's on Mint Gold Dust, which is mintgolddust.com, and it's a butterfly space opera. And so the 8 pieces on there. Each piece was made using artificial intelligence and my writing, and each piece I'm writing a story that coincides with each piece, as well as because each piece has its own story, but they're all going to combine to create one larger story, creating a butterfly space opera.
Got it. So the space opera, I asked, I'm old, and old people here, you're going to have an opera. So I said, oh, you're going to have dances. And he looked at me like I had 7 heads, like dances. God forbid you have dances at an opera. But then I found out it's an NFT opera. So it's not actually going to happen at a real gallery. It's all going to be online.
Yeah, it's all online.
Which you'd say it is real because it is online.
Yes. And
So-
it does have dancers, like right here, in this piece right here, there's a dancer, a ballet dancer.
So it is real if it's online, but if you can't touch it, is it real? And that's the question with someone like me who's 127
Yes,
years old. Is it real? It's real.
It is real.
But because it used to be in my day, if you can't touch it, smell it, taste it, then it's not real. See, that's where the world is going. It's very interesting.
It's definitely real because when you bring it up on your phone,
Right.
you're able to view it.
Right.
And so it's better, as far as like, I think that it's better than personally to be able to experiment with technology, because we can either fight technology or we can dance with it. And I'd much rather dance with the technology and integrate it into my art and explore it and be one of the first, be early,
Yes.
than be late to the party.
I'd like to fornicate with technology, not just dance with it. We'll see if that makes it to the radio. Is the FCC okay with the word fornicate? We'll find out after this interview. Well, thank you very much. We're over our 5-minute mark. Any final thoughts where it came from the radio, and where can we find you?
You can find me in all my socials at www.butterfliesin.space. Final thoughts: have fun, create art, be yourself, and be authentic.
Right. And just another piece of the pie proof that if you can't come to one of my live shows and you can't be here right now, you can use the internet and technology and be part of what we're all doing. So that's pretty cool. Technology can bring us together. It's very interesting where the world is going. And thank you so much for this interview. Back to the studio, Mark.